Hello all my beautiful patrons. Today we're going to be working on the griddle stitch, and this pattern consists of double crochets and single crochets. So you're alternating them back and forth, and then with each row you're alternating their positions. So this is what it looks like. It's a tighter stitch, or a tighter fabric I should say. Alternating the two stitches back and forth creates a tighter fabric, which, gives it a lot of texture. I really do like it. I'm currently working on a cowl that will be coming up for a tutorial soon that is made out of this stitch. But I thought I would go ahead and do a little tutorial on it real quick. So, like I said, it is an alternating of double crochets and single crochets, so you have to have a stitch count that's a multiple of 2. And keep in mind, I don't use extra chains, so if you were to come across a chart of this, it would probably be different than the way that I'm teaching you, because I don't use chain 2s or chain 3s. I go directly into whatever stitch that I'm working, and you'll see that in every tutorial that I do. I just think it makes a nicer fabric. You don't have that gappiness that you have with chains. And it's just the way that I prefer things. If you don't prefer to do them that way and you prefer to do the chains, you can always, just add your chains in instead of just going directly into the stitch. That is completely up to you. I tried to make all of my patterns where you can put your own personal touch on it. I've just learned over the years, and I like my crochet garments and things to look a certain way. I don't like a whole lot of gaps unless the stitch that I'm using is gappy. But I like my edges to be nice and tight, and neat, and that's just, how I do things. You don't have to necessarily do them the same way. So just keep that in mind. I do my things a certain way. And it doesn't mean that you're doing yours wrong. I just have adapted over the years to do stitches a certain way to my liking. So if you choose to go ahead and do them like me, that's great. You'll have a nice, even, ungappy fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the tutorial now. So I just have some scrap yarn here and my 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, because I'm just going to be doing a sample. So the griddle stitch is a multiple of 2. So however long you make your chain just has to be a multiple of 2. So we're going to start off with a slip knot. So I'm just going to chain 8 because that's a multiple of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I don't do chain 2s or chains 3s, so I go directly into whatever stitch I'm working in. So I'm going to chain an extra 1, and I'm going to go into that last stitch, the 8th stitch, with a double crochet. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. And we are going to repeat that all the way to the end. So the next stitch will be a double crochet. And then the next stitch, a single. And then in the next stitch, a double. And then a single in the next stitch, a double in the next stitch, and then a single in the last. Oops, my yarn split. So a single in the last stitch. Now, this is where it changes. So from this point on, you're going to be doing the opposite of whatever stitch was on the stitch below. So I'm going to chain 1. I know that I did a single crochet there, so I know I need to put a double crochet. So on top of the singles, you're going to put doubles. On top of the doubles, you're going to put singles. And then the next stitch will be a single crochet, and then a double crochet, and then a single, double, and then a single crochet in the next, double crochet in the next, and then a single in the last stitch. Okay, so we're going to chain 1 and turn. So I know I just completed a single crochet, so I need to put a double crochet into that stitch. And then I have a double down here, so I know I need to put a single there. And I just complete my pattern. So double crochet would be next, and then single, and then double crochet, and then single, double, and then single in the last. So you'll know you're doing the pattern right if you put, when you're working the stitch, you put the opposite of what is on the row below. So I have a single crochet. I know I need to chain 1 and turn, and I will put a double crochet into that stitch because it's a single. And then a single crochet in the next, a double crochet in the next, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, and then single crochet in the last stitch. So it creates this really neat texture because you're having the opposite stitches. It's really nice. It's one of my favorites too. So I'm going to do a couple more rows with you. So I completed a single here. I need to put a double crochet into it, and then a single crochet, then a double crochet, single, double in the next, single in the next, double crochet in the next, and then single crochet in the last. So I hope that wasn't too fast, but it's really simple. It's just double crochets and single crochets. You're just alternating every row which position you put them in. So it's a really good stitch for beginners. It gets you used to being able to follow a pattern, even though you're not really following a written pattern. You're actually looking at your work and seeing what stitch needs to go where. So I hope this was helpful. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.